Welcome to a video where I can help you figure out if you need a game in 10 minutes or less. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and did you know water is just a portal to another universe where we can fly but not breathe? Thank you for checking out my video, and I hope you stick around and give me a chance. Today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Fata Deum. I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Developed by 42 Bits Entertainment and published by Aerosoft GmbH, released in early access and selling for $30. A God Sim game similar to Black and White. Now that is a game for the OG gamers out there. 2 points if you know what game I'm talking about. So anyway, what is this game and is it even worth our time? Well, let's find out together. So in typical fashion, you start off as a deity just spawning into existence and being led about by spirits or other deities or whatever they are as they try to teach you how to be a deity. Have I said deity enough? Deity. Basically, that's it. You're a new spawned god in this fictitious world. Now get going and doing god stuff. Now let's get into the good and the bad, followed by my final recommendation, and as always, we'll start off with the good. So, the first positive point, at least for me, is the idea. I've always been fascinated with this idea and always curious about the type of gameplay components and overall creativity and freedom a game like this can create. So obviously, the idea is really interesting, and honestly, I'm quite shocked that there haven't been more games with ideas like this being passed around. It offers a unique take on city building sims that adds more depth and exploration in terms of gameplay, story building, and personal player engagement. So it is a bit surprising you don't see a lot of these. Regardless, I love the idea. Next up, let's talk about the gameplay, since I know that's what most of you are here to learn about. You want to know how the game is. You want to know how it feels, how it plays. Is it intuitive? Is it engaging? Does it make sense? Is it fun or addicting? I know. So, let's talk about it. And, you may have noticed, I have slowed down my talking speed because a lot of people have complained about it. However, that means the video might be longer than 10 minutes, which means you only have yourselves to blame. Now, if you've ever played Black and White, then you're going to feel right at home playing this game. Let me start off by saying that. However, if that was before your time, then I'll explain. In this game, you play as a young god, sent to a random world where you have to spread your influence and lead your people and religion to become the most dominant, whilst also fighting against other gods trying to do the exact same thing. You cannot directly control your people or their schedules or anything with them, really. All you can do is influence them and watch and see what happens. You can torture them or bless them, assist them or hinder them. The choice is yours, and typical of games like these, your choices have consequences. Depending on what you do or how you do something will depend on what kind of god you will create and what kind of religion or even culture your people will adopt. You can construct buildings to further influence the direction you want your followers to go, and you can unlock different spells and abilities the more powerful you become, like striking your enemies or allies with lightning, empowering your people to work harder, or calling a meteor storm down on someone, and of course there's always the sacrificing of your own people to summon demons. Yes, all this and more can be yours for the low price of $30. But all kidding aside, the gist of the gameplay is this. Spread your influence around to different settlements, build them up, and then continue to spread your influence until eventually you'll take every settlement, thus leaving the opponent god without any prayers or powers or influence, and since that's how you are able to do anything, you would end up snuffing out their existence. I give the gameplay a solid thumbs up simply because, number one, it brought up old nostalgia feelings of playing Black and White with similar gameplay and controls, creating a seamless and engaging experience, and two, because even if you've never played Black and White, the gameplay is still engaging, fun, quirky, and filled with the potential to become even greater down the line. Next up for the positives is the sound design. Pretty much everything you use your ears for is done well here. The music sounds very fanciful. The sound effects match the graphical detail, and whether it's a good or a bad thing is up for each individual player to determine. I personally thought it was okay. And the game even has voice acting, which I think was really well done.
Are you ready? The time is now.
Let's get this over with, this tiring game of yours.
Overall, the game was pleasant to listen to, which is really nice when you consider the slower pace of a game like this can usually take. Next up that I'd like to gush about is the tutorial, user interface, and overall controls or mechanics. Some people don't care about this too much, so I'm going to keep it brief. The tutorial is fully voiced, optional, intuitive, not invasive or overwhelming, and while doing the tutorial, I didn't feel like I was constricted to its particular tasks, thus giving me a bit of freedom and letting me actually play the game at the same time I was learning it. The user interface is very familiar and well done. It was easy to find things, easy to understand things at first glance, no overcrowding or awkward placements, and for the most part just made made playing the game more seamless. And then there was the overall controls. They're what you'd want them to be in a game like this. WASD to move camera, middle mouse button to angle the camera, zoom in, zoom out, shortcut key bindings for spells and abilities, an overview map to help you navigate the world faster. All in all, well designed. You may notice I didn't add stability, and we'll talk about that later. Next up is the writing quality. This isn't a big one, and again, I'm going to keep it brief, but basically, I just enjoyed the quality of the writing. It really impressed me, that's all I'll say. I'm a big reader and writer, and before dropping out of college was an English major, and me likey the word here in placement. So that's all I can really talk about in terms of what I liked about the game. Now we gotta move on to what I didn't like, but before that, I'd like to ask for your help. I'm not some professional reviewer or anything, right? I'm not some specialist or anything. I am literally just some random regular guy. I'm a husband, father, son, brother, and just trying to help out the gaming community however I can, and this has been the best way to do that. But it would be a lot easier if I was making some money doing this, so I could purchase more games to review, and hey, I'm poor as shit. However, each and every one of you out there can help me do this particular job better. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps the overall engagement and algorithm and overall possible income I could receive from YouTube, and no one else is going to advertise for me, so here I am. So, you know, consider helping me out. I don't really make, like, a lot of money doing this. Like, I really don't make a lot of money. So, I could use your help in helping me do this job better. So, consider helping me out by supporting my channel. Thank you. Okay, enough of the self-advertisement. Now on to the things I didn't like and the things that might stop you from buying. The first for me was the graphics. Now before you get too hyped up, let me go ahead and say they're not bad. I mean, they're not good either, but they're not bad. I've definitely seen better, and in this day and age, I feel like we could have gotten this same exact game but with better graphics, so it is a bit disheartening to see a game like this release in this day and age with graphics not much better than the original black and white game. So don't get me wrong, like I said, it's not awful, but overall as you're watching, even you gotta admit it could have been better. The next thing I didn't really like is the price tag. Now, overall, I can't really say why, but to me personally, with a game so empty and so early access, I feel like they should have charged a bit less. The game doesn't really offer you hardly anything right now. In fact, when in the game, the voice actor, imp helper guy, keeps talking about how it's not in the game yet, and will be one day. Trust him. Every time you find something, he says this, despite in the tutorial they encourage you to explore in the first place.
Yet another beautiful backdrop. I wonder what exciting story is hidden here, which the incompetent developers have not yet realized.
There's just nothing really here yet. It does have legit gameplay mechanics and components, so you can actually play a match, plus there is the voice acting, so there's a legitimate defense in its price tag, but personally I just felt like for me beta testing your game and giving you tips and advice on how to design your game, you should be paying me, not the other way around. You know, like the good old days when they actually used to do that. So at the very least, maybe just charge people $20 and bump it up to $35 when it's fully released. You'd get a lot more people doing that. But at the same time, $30 isn't too egregious, so I don't know, you guys decide. Next up is the stability, as I mentioned earlier. The game is a bit off right now, with certain things simply not working, breaking, or clearly in need of more work, period. For instance, in every settlement, I have over a dozen people just chilling. I mean, that's what the game literally says, that they're just chilling. Yet, I've got plenty of open job slots for them to work, and they're just not doing it. When inspecting them, there's no discernible reason as to why. The frame rate for my game drops constantly, by the way, which always makes me fear for the worst. And it has frozen on me several times as well, again, making me fear the worst. So the game's not very stable and could definitely use some stability patches ASAP. It's early access, I understand. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to tell people what I experienced. Also, for some reason, my people want me to turn my main settlement into a large city. They've prayed to me to make this happen. But when I tell them to do that, they'll only do it for other settlements, not the one I'm currently in and they're asking for. I don't really understand why this is, but it's confusing when people of Settlement A tell me they want Settlement A to become a large city. So when I click on the main building of Settlement A, where you decide such things, and tell them to build a big city, they can't do it at Settlement A, only at Settlement B, with no explanation or reason given as to why, so that's a bit confusing as well, with no explanations or fix that I could find. And last but not least is not really a negative, but maybe some suggestions for the game dev if they happen to watch this video, which if they do, hi there game dev. Hope I've been able to help. So here's the thing, I want more content in your game. Why can we only summon a demon, and only through sacrificing our people? Why can't we build like an altar, or drain people's faith and energy to summon an angel instead? Like, remember the Tyrael from Diablo? Let me summon him. Since you clearly have options for good god and bad god, you know, then give both good and bad beings to summon. Also, it seems the only combat abilities that you really get are meant for being evil, yet if you're playing a good god, there should be more spells for you to use against evil, like maybe a blessing called Chosen One, where you take a specific person and make them a champion of the light or something. You know, someone that can fight against the demon in an epic battle of good versus evil, like that would be cool. Also, maybe make the maps bigger and flatter. There's too many mountains, and it makes it hard to navigate or understand or learn the layout. Oh, and another suggestion is to change how to rotate buildings. It's super wonky and awkward. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, finish the game. It's good, but I can't wait to see what it'll become when it's bigger. I want more options. I want more stuff to do, to see, to experience. Voyages, holy wars, massive kingdoms warring against each other, more people per settlement, larger areas for larger settlements, natural weather emergencies, and other catastrophes. You know, just stuff like that. Just a few thoughts from me to you, and I hope people in the comments will also suggest cool things, because from what I saw in the game itself, you seem pretty open to suggestions, so make sure y'all let them give them your suggestions. But yeah, so that's all I got for the good and the bad of the game. What are my final thoughts? Well, I think this game has got some serious potential to be something really cool down the line. It's very reminiscent of Black and White, and I've wanted a game like this for a really long time. Unfortunately, the game is very early access with a lot of stability issues, missing content, and balancing issues. So, do I recommend it though? That's the thing. Well, honestly, yeah, kinda. I mean, I liked the game. I think it's worth the investment, and the devs have several ways for you to make suggestions, as I've said several times, which will help them develop the game further, which is cool and a good sign of a good development team. They're willing to hear you out. In other words, I think it's a pretty safe investment for a game that could one day be a pretty awesome little product. Plus, despite its stability issues and lack of content, the gameplay is still fun and engaging with good writing, mechanics, and overall a good gameplay feel to it. So if this is something you're interested in, yeah, I'd highly encourage you to give it a shot. I mean, I enjoyed it and I recommend it. Just keep in mind going in that it's not finished, right? It's still developing, okay? Alright, so that's all the time I got for today, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.